Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Wednesday, August 28th, 2024 by Gaia Blooming. I'm Mimi, and our energy mantra for today is I balance the mental with embodied presence. And today, congratulations, we have made it through Mercury retrograde. We have Mercury going direct today at 2:14 p.m. Pacific time. Now, does this mean the shenanigans are over? No. We still have a few weeks of shenanigans. So the whole experience of a Mercury retrograde is actually the pre-retrograde, which is when it reaches the point that it retrogrades to. In this case, what is it, 21 Leo? Yeah, 21 Leo, to the point that it retrogrades at, and then goes back again, and then again, right? So it's 3 passes over these specific degrees. And my feeling is with a retrograde, it's like extra review. Like, okay, you need to dig deeper into these lessons. So here we are. Here's the 3rd pass of our lessons. This is the time where hopefully the shenanigans die down because we've gotten the lessons. But still, if there's things we need to learn, it could pop up. So be aware of that. I have a sneeze. Excuse me. Okay, so here we go. Mercury direct. It always takes it a few days to recalibrate itself. So be aware of that. Like, don't go jumping the gun at 2:14 p.m. Pacific time. Be like, it's direct now, let's go. You know, like, recalibrate, reevaluate within yourself, and check in. Like, what have you learned? What have you connected into since, let's see, when did it, since, wow, back in July. July 15th is when we started this process, right around there. So what has come up for you in this time, especially in learning to bridge the heart and the mind, right? Because that's part of what this is bringing. I also feel like it's really great to review the heart lessons, the love lessons, the inner child lessons that have come up, because we will be having a Mars retrograde that begins in Leo, goes back into Cancer, but we're going to have that coming up later this year. So more of these Leo lessons. We're digging deeper into the heart of the matter. So watch for that. We also have a really interesting day. We have Venus finishing up in the sign of Virgo and pulling with Neptune. And when I was sitting here, I was like, what is that quote? Like all is possible with great love. Like, it was something like that. And then I looked it up, and it's like, with love, all things are possible. I was like, well, thank you, Mimi's brain, for twisting that around. But that's what I was feeling. And it's like, in this case, Venus in Virgo, the more you can accept, love on your whole and holy self, body, mind, spirit, soul, and heart, there are some beautiful energies that you can pull in from that 29 Neptune Pisces energy. I also feel like it's like the great love to be able to hold the vision, to hold your desire of a beautiful, bright future. I think sometimes we have to love ourselves enough to make the physical choices, hello Virgo, that help us align with that future. And so there's part of this energy feeding in. Now, I want to discuss a little what I said yesterday, because a lot of people have a lot to say when it comes to stories, because our stories are personal. And here's the thing, and I've always said this, I believe in venting. I 100% believe that our stories are meant to be told. Like, we're not just meant to hold in our stories. They are meant to be told and experienced. But we become so committed to the stories. We become committed to the trauma in our stories that we keep recycling it around. And one of the most fascinating things about the brain is that, like, when we're telling a story, our body starts feeling it. Our body starts reacting to it. And so in continuing to tell the same story over and over and over again, we keep reenacting it. It's really interesting too, because it had me thinking about Joe, and Joe had to fill out like all these medical forms over and over and over, saying all these things that are wrong with him, and just like this, and how much anxiety it would bring him filling out these things, because it's engaging with what we want to let go of. Oh my gosh, I see this card peeking out. I have my cards sitting right here, not the ones I pulled. And I see this one, the clinging to the past. It keeps us clinging to the past. And what we want, I think, to be more committed to is our well selves, our healed selves, the vision of the future that we want to move into, and aligning with that instead of putting our body through the trauma. So does your story have a chance to like be heard? Yes, please share your story. I don't think that these things are meant to be held in, but it's knowing when to like kind of release it, like a, well, not like a balloon, but maybe like a rehabilitated bird. Oh my gosh, that's such a better analogy. A rehabilitated bird. You let it go and let it return to its wild self. That's what we need to do with some of these stories, is recognize when it's time to rehabilitate the bird, that the bird is ready for the wild, or a rehabilitated cat, whatever you choose. But be aware of that in this energy, because I feel like this year, in looking at the astro ahead, like this is the year to get right and aligned in your mind. As we have Jupiter, like your biggest cheerleader in the sign of Gemini for this year, being like, we can think about the good things. We don't just have to think about the bad things and where we feel like a victim and all of that. Yes, there's time for that, but don't get stuck there. Don't get lost there. Don't go to, Alice in Wonderland when it comes to these things that suck the life out of you. That's what I notice about my stories that I can tell over and over, is watching them suck the vibrance out of myself rather than the stories that lift me up. That's where I'm leaning. And again, this isn't a bypass thing. There's time for it all. There's balance for it all. I always say I think Libra is the most important sign of the zodiac because it brings us balance. I think all of us are out of balance, as is the nature of the world, as is the nature of things. But the more we can find what our individual balance is, there's thriving in that. So, in this Venus-Neptune opposition, what are you calling in? How are you using your illusion to support and love on yourself and your vision? And the Silence card is the Star card. It's bright future. Now, it is in reverse in today's. It's because the future's not here yet, right? And I think sometimes it can be so excited about what's to come, but recognize you are building it now. What are the stones, and what is the foundation that you're building in this moment right now? Always important. We also have the moon moving into Cancer today. So Sun in Virgo, moon in Cancer, these energies can be very concerned. These energies definitely want to tend to others, be of service. Again, make sure that you are taking the time to tend to yourself, to check in with your own feelings, to be of service to yourself. Being of service to anyone starts with being of service to yourself. Astro Bear says so. We also have, by the way, the moon also checking in with Neptune today. Just a really strong Neptune-y day, helping us look beyond what reality is presenting to us and recognize there's a big field of possibility that we can always tune into, check in with in these energies. Venus will be shifting tomorrow into Libra on Thursday, as Mercury starts revving its engines, preparing for this forward momentum. Take it easy, take it slow. We definitely have some feels coming in. I do have the Sorrow card. Now this is interesting because it is a Swords card, so it is a mental card, but there's definitely some emotional energy in there. Makes sense with the Sun in Virgo, which can be very mental, and Moon in Cancer. Make time to express what needs to be released. Again, this is part of the balance of all the things, is knowing how and when to release whatever it is. Ooh, speaking of clinging to the past, here we have the miser too. What are you holding on to? What stories are you holding on to? Because there's some security in it for you, right? Figure that out and see where you can just make little shifts. You don't have to give it all up at once. It's like, you know, when you're clearing clutter, like make a goal. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this thing today. Step by step, little by little, right? I do have the intensity card too, which is interesting. I feel like this is how we want to be reacting to Mercury direct. We want to like fly into action. Just take it easy, take it slow. If you do fly into action, kind of feels like there's like a little bit of a wall there that you may hit. So just be aware of that. Final card, we are the world. What is this card in the energies today? I always say, like, this is a card that reminds us that we're all like feeling this, but this card, like, it's the 10 of Pentacles. It's definitely a card of manifestation, and I think it might go hand in hand with this silence card. Remember what you're doing right now, what you're thinking right now, what you're speaking right now, all feeds into where you are going. Is it supporting the vision that you're wanting to support? And again, this doesn't mean that you hold back the tears. It doesn't mean you hold that stuff back. But you cultivate an awareness of it all. So that, again, you can find your individual balance. Your balance isn't going to look like my balance, right? And that's okay too. Just figure out what feels right and aligned for you. And it might change and evolve over time. And that's all perfect. So I realized I've forgotten to be pulling cat chaos cards. So let's pull a cat chaos card. See what the cats have to say to us. Oh, I like it. Okay, we've got some look like rays, and it says gliding through the currents. With a different approach, you will glide through a situation with grace and ease, going inward and bringing your understanding, perspective, or behavior into flow will help your dreams take flight. So we're doing it in a different way to help our dreams take flight. We got some ray support and even some beautiful turtle support on the other side. So that's it for today. You can book a reading. Eclipse readings available. Pisces eclipse coming in on the 17th. Libra eclipse about 2 weeks after that, just FYI. So book a reading. We'll get you on the list. And you can always book a reading for anything else. The better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power. And remember who you are. For you are the solution. Namaste.